Have you ever wondered what the most dangerous places on Earth are? This question might seem a bit daunting, but we're here to shed some light on the subject. Our planet, beautiful and diverse as it is, holds some areas that are fraught with danger, ranging from man-made perils to the wrath of Mother Nature herself. These places are spread across the globe, each with its unique set of hazards. Some are war-torn regions where conflict is a part of daily life, while others are hotbeds of crime, where law and order struggle to maintain a foothold. Then there are places that challenge human endurance with their extreme environmental conditions, or those that are off-limits due to governmental restrictions. And let's not forget the areas that are constantly under the threat of natural disasters, or those that are so remote, help might be days away. So without any further ado, let's dive into the world's most dangerous places, starting with conflict zones. You might think of a dangerous place as a war-torn area, and you wouldn't be wrong. It's a chilling reality that certain regions of our planet are marred by ongoing military conflicts, civil unrest, and significant political instability. These areas, known as conflict zones, are among the most perilous places on Earth. But what makes conflict zones so dangerous? Well, the answer lies in their very name. These regions are embroiled in continuous conflict, a breeding ground for violence and uncertainty. Here, the threat to personal safety is not just occasional, but a constant, looming presence. The sounds of gunfire, explosions, and sirens are tragically commonplace. Let's take Syria, for instance. For over a decade, this Middle Eastern nation has been ravaged by a civil war that has not only claimed countless lives, but also triggered a massive refugee crisis. It's a place where the daily lives of ordinary people are disrupted by the horrors of war. Afghanistan is another example. Known for its rich history and cultural heritage, this Central Asian country has unfortunately been a hotbed of conflict for several decades. The instability and violence have made Afghanistan one of the most dangerous places in the world. Yemen, too, is a country marked by conflict. Ongoing civil war and humanitarian crisis have made it a perilous place to be. And then there's Ukraine, where parts of the eastern region have been caught in a conflict with Russia, leading to a volatile and dangerous situation. These are just a few examples. But the unfortunate truth is that conflict zones exist in various corners of the globe. They serve as a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for violence and the devastating impact it can have on people's lives. But it's worth noting that while these places are dangerous, they are also home to millions of people who are striving for peace and normalcy amidst the chaos. Their resilience and spirit are a testament to the indomitable strength of the human spirit. As we can see, conflict zones are hazardous due to the high risk of violence and political instability. But they're also a testament to the power of hope and resilience, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Moving from war-torn regions, we come to areas defined by a different kind of danger: high crime rates. High crime areas are regions that experience an elevated level of violent offenses. These can include homicide, kidnapping, robbery, and other forms of violent crime. The danger in these areas does not come from political instability or military conflict, but rather from societal issues that foster crime. Poverty, lack of education, and systemic corruption can all contribute to high crime rates, making these areas fraught with danger for both locals and visitors alike. Take, for instance, certain locations in Latin America. Brazil, Venezuela, Honduras, and Mexico all have regions notorious for high crime rates. These places are often marked by pockets of extreme poverty, where crime provides a desperate means of survival for some. The favelas of Brazil, for instance, are infamous for their high crime rates, as poverty and gang activity intertwine, creating a perilous environment. Venezuela, too, has its share of high crime areas, with Caracas often listed among the world's most dangerous cities due to its high homicide rate. The situation in Venezuela is further exacerbated by political instability and economic crisis, making it a particularly unsafe destination. In Honduras, cities like San Pedro Sula have seen crime rates soar due to gang violence and drug trafficking. And let's not forget Mexico, where certain areas, particularly those dominated by drug cartels, are hotbeds of violent crime. However, it's important to note that not all areas within these countries are dangerous. Many parts of Brazil, Venezuela, Honduras, and Mexico are safe and welcoming, offering rich cultural experiences and stunning natural beauty. But the existence of high crime areas within these nations is an unfortunate reality that cannot be overlooked. These high crime areas pose significant risks due to the potential for violent crime. It's a different kind of danger, one that's rooted not in nature or in the fury of battle, but in the very fabric of human society. It's a stark reminder of the disparities and challenges that exist in our world, and a call to action for change and improvement. High crime areas pose significant risks to individuals due to the potential for violent crime. But danger doesn't always come from human actions. Some places on Earth are hazardous due to their extreme natural conditions. Imagine standing on the tallest peak in the world, Mount Everest. At over 29,000 feet, it's an apex that has claimed the lives of over 300 adventurers. But what makes Everest so dangerous? The first challenge is the altitude. The higher you climb, the less oxygen there is to breathe. At Everest's peak, the oxygen level is a third of what it is at sea level. This can lead to altitude sickness, which can be fatal if not treated promptly. Then there's the weather. Temperatures can drop to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds can whip up to 200 miles per hour. These conditions can lead to frostbite, hypothermia, and even being swept off the mountain. On the other side of the spectrum, we find the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. It's one of the hottest places on Earth, with temperatures routinely exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The Danakil Depression is a surreal landscape of lava lakes, salt plains, and sulfur springs. But don't be fooled by its alien beauty. The extreme heat and arid conditions can lead to dehydration and heat stroke. And the volcanic activity makes it prone to earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and toxic gas emissions. But it's not just the heat that's dangerous. The air in the Danakil Depression is laden with toxic gases, and the ground is often unstable due to the volcanic activity. One misstep could lead you into a boiling hot spring or a pool of acid. In both these places, the environment itself is a formidable foe. They remind us that nature, in all its grandeur and beauty, can also be a powerful and unforgiving force. But it's not just about the danger. These places also inspire awe and respect for the raw power of our planet. They remind us of our smallness in the face of the Earth's might and the importance of respecting its boundaries. So, natural extremes can be perilous due to harsh weather, difficult terrain, and the risk of natural disasters. Now, imagine a place so dangerous or precious that you're not even allowed to visit. These are the enigmatic territories we call restricted areas. Restricted areas are locations that are off-limits to the general public. This could be due to governmental restrictions, designated protected status, or even private ownership. The reasons behind these restrictions can be as diverse as the areas themselves, but the common thread is that they all carry an element of danger or sensitivity that necessitates their protection. Take military bases, for example. These are often high-security zones that house critical operations and assets. From the secretive Area 51 in the United States to the highly fortified demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, these areas are restricted to prevent potential threats, protect national security, and maintain peace. On the other end of the spectrum, we have protected environmental reserves. These are places of extraordinary natural beauty or ecological significance, like the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway, or the Lascaux Caves in France, famous for their prehistoric paintings. These areas are restricted to preserve their pristine condition, protect endangered species, and safeguard precious ecosystems from human interference. Then we have certain indigenous territories that are protected to conserve the cultures, traditions, and way of life of indigenous peoples. For instance, North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal, home to the Sentinelese tribe, one of the last uncontacted peoples in the world. Here, restrictions are in place to protect the tribe's way of life and to prevent the spread of diseases to which they have no immunity. Yet, no matter the reason, all these areas carry an air of mystery and intrigue. They are tantalizing puzzles, shrouded in secrecy and sometimes danger. They remind us that there are still places on this planet that remain untouched, unexplored, and off-limits to the prying eyes of the world. Restricted areas, hence, are off-limits due to various reasons ranging from governmental restrictions to protected status. They serve as a reminder that preservation and safety often require sacrifice, and in this case, it's our ability to freely explore every corner of our incredible planet. From places we can't visit, we move to places we'd probably prefer not to visit. Welcome to the world of natural hazard zones. These are areas prone to natural disasters. Think active volcanoes, earthquake zones, and regions with a high risk of hurricanes or tsunamis. What makes them dangerous? Well, the unpredictability and sheer power of nature's forces are not to be underestimated. Consider this. At any given moment, the ground beneath your feet could shake with such ferocity that buildings crumble like sandcastles. Or a mountain could suddenly spit out molten rock and ash, transforming day into night. These are not scenes from a disaster movie, but the harsh realities for those living in natural hazard zones. Let's take, for instance, the Pacific Ring of Fire. It's a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean, where a large number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. It's associated with a nearly continuous series of oceanic trenches, volcanic arcs, volcanic belts, and plate movements. It's home to 75% of the world's active volcanoes and 90% of the world's earthquakes. This makes it one of the most geologically active areas on Earth. But it's not just about the earthquakes and volcanoes. Natural hazard zones also include areas at risk of severe weather events. Picture the Tornado Alley in the United States, known for its frequent tornadoes. Or imagine the coastal areas along the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico, which are often in the path of destructive hurricanes. Yet, despite these risks, millions of people continue to live and work in these zones. Some because they have no other choice. Others because they've learned to adapt and live with the risks. They build earthquake-resistant structures, develop early warning systems, and practice evacuation drills. It's a testament to human resilience and adaptability. Natural hazard zones remind us of Earth's volatile nature, being prone to natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. These places, though dangerous, are a stark reminder of our planet's dynamic and ever-changing character. Lastly, let's talk about places where the danger lies in their sheer isolation. Isolated or remote areas are not necessarily perilous because of conflict, crime, or natural disasters. Instead, the danger here is the extreme remoteness itself. Imagine being so far from civilization that immediate help, should you need it, becomes impossible. Take, for instance, the vast expanses of the Sahara Desert. Its endless dunes and scorching heat can disorient even the most experienced travelers. Or consider the deep sea locations, where the crushing pressure, lack of light, and cold temperatures are beyond human survivability. Then there are remote islands, detached from mainland, where you are at the mercy of the elements with limited resources. In such places, a simple misstep or an unexpected change in weather can quickly turn into a life-threatening situation. Isolated or remote areas thus pose their own set of challenges due to the lack of immediate help and exposure to the elements. So there you have it, a tour of some of the most dangerous places on Earth. We've journeyed through conflict zones rife with political instability and military unrest. We've explored high-crime areas where the risk of violent crime is an everyday reality. We've braved environmental extremes, from the dizzying heights of Mount Everest to the scorching depths of Ethiopia's Danakil Depression. We've peeked into restricted areas, where governmental restrictions, protected status, or private ownership limit our access. We've tread lightly in natural hazard zones, where the power of Mother Nature manifests in active volcanoes and earthquake-prone regions. And finally, we've ventured into isolated or remote areas, where dangers lurk in the form of exposure to the elements and the potential for getting lost. Remember, while these places may hold a certain allure for the adventurous, it's always important to prioritize safety. Until next time, stay safe. Stay